What an honor, Steve Renaud, senior, to be in the Hall of Fame with your father, Harry Renaud.
A very exciting night, to say the least. I am so honored and so humbled and so blessed to be here with so many old friends and a lot of new friends that I've made through recent years. It's just a real blessing, and I really can't wait till it all gets started, you know. But it's just I'm so happy. You know, what else can I say? Maybe I could use one of your three-letter words. Wow, awesome. You know.
Talk about Harry Renaud, your father.
Dad was a fantastic bowler. He started at a young age, around 20 years old, around 1960, and he bowled throughout the 60s, even having some purse matches, a couple against the great Charlie Jutras. Not too many guys beat Charlie, but Dad got him. And then Dad took a little time off, came back in the mid-70s, got back bowling one night a week, joined the state championships for the first time in 1980, came in third place in the singles, and through the tournament high game, out of all the hundreds of people that bowled, Dad had the highest game rolled with a 194 that had 4 strikes in a row. And that's where his career really took off. In the 80s, he did really some of his best bowling.
Let's talk about your career. A couple of brief highlights of your career for your viewers who don't know you.
Well, you know, I'll be sharing a lot of that tonight in my speech. But for me, the 1990 World Team Championships will always go down as the greatest one, because not only I did it with some great teammates, I did it with my dad, and that will always be the biggest win out of all of them. But I was really blessed to be state champions with my father, Harry, in the doubles. We had many other accomplishments that we achieved together, but those two would be two of my favorites: the state doubles and the teams.
A class act, a true gentleman. Congratulations, being the 2023 Candlepin Hall of Fame.
Thank you, and to everybody that's watching. I hope you enjoy this festivities tonight. It's going to be a wonderful evening.
Right, thank you, Steve Renaud, Senior.
Thank you, guys.
Welcome. Thank you.
Have a good night, Paul.
How you doing? This ought to be good. Harry, for posthumously, 2023 is a special year for the Renaud family. Both the late Harry and son Steve are being enshrined into the Candlepin Bowling's greatest honor, the Academy Awards, the Oscars, if you will, of Candlepin Bowling Hall of Fame. The Renaud family connection was always evident. Following many successful years bowling with and against the likes of fellow Hall of Famers, Charlie Jutras, Rolly Blondin, Dick Smuts, Harry put the game of Candlepins aside in 1970 for a few years to build a home and start a family. Following his sabbatical, Harry returned to the game he loved in 1975 and began taking young Steve with him occasionally. Watching his father, Steve quickly caught the bug as his parents signed him up for a youth league when he was 13. Harry was back in the game with a vengeance, bowling his way to the WCBC Rookie of the Year in 1980. He was Mass State Singles Champ in 1985 with a 1365. Then, Harry surrendered the title to son Steve the very next year. How nice of him. Then it really got fun as the father-son team of Harry and Steve won the state doubles title in 1987. Harry rolled 690, while his protege contributed 651. Harry captured the 13th annual Pepsi Classic in 1988 at Botwell's with a 1388. Harry needed 3 marks to edge late Hall of Famer favorite Dan Murphy by 5 pins, which he did. Harry enjoyed plenty of FaceTime on TV matches. His 15 tube appearances included Channel 5 doubles, Big Shot Bowling, Hey, Let's Go Bowling. Harry had 3 final appearances at the World's Championship in 1989, 1990, and 1991. His team won in 1990 as Harry made a huge cut shot in the 10th frame of the 3rd game, helping spark his team to the victory. He retired at 50 due to back and knee problems, leaving behind an inevitable legacy and a son who would take the torch for his own terrific career. Not only did Harry face many uphill battles on the lanes, he was also a member of the 4,000 Footer Club, having hyped, God bless you, having hiked New England mountains peaks above 4,000 feet, of which there were 48 ratified here, indeed, just like his bowling career as he enters the Hall of Fame on this same night with his son, Steve. Now I'm going to talk about Steve. I've seen him a lot around, and he's got a son too, Junior. I have to figure out how to write the check a lot of times when I do this one. Well, you don't need a genetic test kit to know that Steve Renaud is Harry's son. Steve took the gift of natural ability from his Hall of Fame father and turned it into a career the late Harry would have been truly proud of. Steve's family tree is loaded with Candlepin bowlers, playing the game for nearly 100 years. The run began with grandmother Evelyn and her brother Babe Bartlett. Then to his father Harry and his sister June, of course, there's Steve and his son Stephen, keeping the Renaud Candlepin tradition going for 4 generations, and doing it with great distinction, absolutely great distinction, no question. Steve had a most prolific career, collection of scoring achievements. High single, 191, triple, 481, high five, 745, and a 10-string best of 1470. He has made TV appearances with no less than 10 competition shows, including 60 to 70 visits to the king of them all, Candlepin bowling singles and doubles on Channel 5, which ended over 25 years ago. It was a constant exposure that brought fame and fans to bowlers like Steve for decades. Similar to his dad, Harry, Steve was a proud member of 3 World Team Championships. Perhaps Steve's proudest moments came as he and Harry were Mass State champs in 1987. He feels his most important title was a team championship he shared with his father in a group also made up of Dick O'Connell, Al Johnson, Jeff Atkins, Don Gallant, and John Tyberski. Steve never forgot the joy of being with his father when he was very young, as he himself served as coach for 22 years, traveling every fall to Portsmouth for the junior event. He stayed active for 10 years with the Kids Traveling League. He has served as co-host on TV Candlepins for Kids, 8 years with Dan Gothier. Steve is grateful to his wife, Kathy, without whose help he could not have accomplished all that he has. No doubt, the senior Renaud, Harry, would be proud of his father, as a father would be of his son. Steve enters the enshrinement with him on every single night. I welcome you, Steve, and posthumously your father, to the Candlepin Hall of Fame. You want to speak, Jonathan?
Thank you. I'll keep this short. I know Steve has a lot to say, but I just want to thank the ICBA for putting this night on. It's great to see all the talent, past and present, in the same room, you know, sharing memories and stories. It's really a great time, and I know how much this game means to Steve and his family, and it has meant that for many, many years, so I know Steve has been looking forward to this night, and so have I, so I will not hold you up any longer. Thank you very much, and Steve, here you go.
Thanks again, Ralph. Thank you, everybody. I'm a little nervous, so please bear with me as I get through my dad's speech, and then I'd like to share you mine. Thanks, Auntie. Whew. So, good evening, everybody. On behalf of my dad, Harry, my sister, Michelle, and I, my dad's 2 sisters, June and Yvonne, who are here tonight, and our entire family, we want to say thank you to the ICBA and everyone involved who made this night possible and giving Dad this great honor, entering him into the Candlepin Bowling Hall of Fame. Dad was really great at many things, but tonight we are here to celebrate his Candlepin bowling career. Dad started bowling around 1960, following in the footsteps of his uncle, his mother's brother, Alfred Babe Bartlett, who was one of the top bowlers in Southbridge. In 1964, at age 21, Dad was asked by Hall of Famer Rollie Blondin of Worcester to be his doubles partner in a purse match against Hall of Famers Dick Smuss and the legendary Charlie Jutras. Dad and Rollie went on to win that match that day, 24-65 to 24-39. This would be the first of 3 purse matches Dad would have against Charlie through the years. Dad bowled through the 1960s and then took a few years off and got back into the game around 1975, bowling once a week in the Friday Night Social League at the Hippodrome Lanes, where he would go on to throw 200 games, with one of them having 5 strikes in a row and the other 4. Dad's high triple also came at the hip with a 473. I want to thank the LaBelle family and the Hippodrome Lanes. I think Dad had a connection with Al LaBelle Sr. He really liked him, and he really liked bowling at the hip. In 1980, Dad bowled his first state championship, which was held at the Fairway Sports World, where he placed 3rd in the singles event. During those 10 games, Dad rolled the tournament high single of 194, putting together another 4 consecutive strikes. In 1981, Dad was the WCBC Pro Tour Rookie of the Year. He got a kick out of it, being called a rookie at 38 years old. From 1985 through 1991, Dad really did some of his best bowling. In 1985, at the Sammy White's Brighton Bowl, Dad won his first state title, winning the singles event, bowling the last shift with a 160 final game to edge out Barry Lang with a score of 1365. Dad and I also placed 3rd in the doubles that year, so that was pretty special. After 2 great years with Dad winning the state title in '85 and myself in '86, Dad led us with a 690 score at the Metro West Lanes in Framingham to win the 1987 state doubles title, making it 3 great years and truly one of my most favorite titles. At the 1988 states, Dad came so close to winning another title, placing 2nd in the mixed doubles event that was held on Channel 5. Dad rolled his personal best 5 games of 756 to qualify for the tapings. During that 1988 season, Dad went up to Boutwell's Bowlamore in Concord, New Hampshire for the 10-string Pepsi Classic. Needing 3 marks in his last 3 boxes, he spared out, rolling his personal best of 1388 to win the event by 5 pins, beating out the great Dan Murphy for the $1,700 first prize. Boutwell's was Dad's favorite place to bowl outside his home house of the Hip. At the end of the 1988-89 season, Dad placed 3rd on the WNECA Pro Tour for Bowler of the Year honors. And in doing so, the final matches were taped on the Springfield's Let's Go Bowling show, where in one of the matches, Dad rolled again 4 strikes in a row, something very few have ever done on TV. At that time, I asked our captain, Jeff Atkins, if he would bring Dad onto our Worlds team. This is where I might get choked up. We just came in 2nd the year before, and I knew Dad would be a great addition to our team of Danny Gallant, John Taberski, Alfie Johnson, Dick O'Connell, Jeff Atkins, and myself. Jeff agreed. It was one of the best decisions Jeff ever made for our team. We went on to 3 more finals in '89, '90, and '91, winning the big one in 1990 in Bangor, Maine. Dad is without a doubt, in my eyes, one of the greatest 6 men to ever come off a bench for any team. He always picked us up. He was so great at it. You just ask Alfie, he'll tell you the same thing. Dad's the best bowler to ever come out of our family, and I hope he's looking down tonight. With all the other great Candlepins, with all the other Candlepin greats who have left us, and is enjoying his night as one of the newest members of the Candlepin Bowling Hall of Fame. Michelle and I love you, Dad. Congratulations, I'm so proud of you. Thank you. I got one now. I got one for myself. Oh, boy, I did it. It was a little easier than I thought. To say I've been overwhelmed with emotions over the last few months would be an understatement. So, again, it's so nice to see so many familiar faces and old friends here tonight. I saw Paul Berger. There he is, right here. You know, Paul, I'm still not happy about you kicking my ass twice on Channel 5. But I have great respect for you, sir. Growing up as a teen, you were one of my favorites. And it's so nice to see you here tonight, sir. So, hello again, everybody. First, I'd like to congratulate all of this year's inductees. I'm so happy for all of you and your families that are here tonight. I want to thank Maria Angelotti and the members of the ICBA for making this wonderful night possible. Thank you all so much. A huge thanks goes to Jonathan Boudreau, who did all the work for this. I love John like a son, and I'm so proud of him. Thank you, John. Ooh. I also want to thank my wife, Kathy, and my 3 kids, Stephen, Brandon, and Alyssa, and all my family and friends that are here tonight. I want to thank you for always being there for me through the good times and through the times I wasn't at my best. And for those moments, I'm so sorry. A special thanks to my mom and my other dad, Richard, who's here tonight. Thank you both for coming up from Florida to be here. I love you guys. Thanks. When I was around 11 or 12 years old, Dad started taking me with him to the hip for his Friday night league. I just loved to sit there and talk to his teammates and watch all the action. I learned how to play this game by watching local bowlers Jerry Menard, Angie DiDonato, Hall of Famer Bernie Duhamel, as well as Hall of Famer Ed Zernicki, along with my dad, Harry. There was this other guy, too. I can't think of his name right now. He was a pretty good bowler. Oh, yeah, I remember now. His name was Tommy Ulster. He was pretty good and a great friend of mine. In 1977, at 13 years old, I joined the Kids League at the Hip Lanes, where I would spend some of the best years of my bowling life. I want to thank Al LaBelle Sr. and Al LaBelle Jr., also known as AJ. AJ is here tonight, up from Wisconsin, where he's very involved with helping our service veterans. AJ, thank you so much for everything you did for us. You were a really great owner. A quick story about AJ was at the end of the bowling season, if you had perfect attendance, AJ would give you 3 free strings of bowling, and if you hit a 400, he would do the same for that. Well, the 1984-85 season was my breakout year, and my average went up into the mid to upper 120s, 125, 126. Well, I bowled in all 4 leagues at the Hip that year, and not only did I have perfect attendance in all my leagues, I rolled 3,400s that year. And AJ ended up giving me over 100 free games of bowling. I like to believe that that kindness, that encouragement, and that support, and those 100 strings helped get me here today. Really, AJ, thank you for what you did for me and for being here tonight. Thank you, thank you. The Hip has not been my only home house to bowl out of. I also want to thank the late Ron and Evelyn Josefiak and their sons Danny and Al of the Munson Lanes. This league on Thursday night was my all-time favorite. It's where I held over a 130 average for a season, and I had my only purse match that I ever did with my dad. We bowled Hall of Famer Dave Romani and Hall of Famer Charlie Jutras, which was Dad's 3rd and last time facing Charlie. The first time when Dad faced Charlie, he was 21. The 3rd time, it was me who was 22, 23 years old. So that's pretty cool. The Munson Lanes truly hold some special memories, so thanks to the Josefiak family. I also want to thank the Bogey Lanes in East Brookfield, Mass. I've been here for about 30 years now, still bowling on Monday nights. Thank you, Dan and Amy Luxia, for all you do. I also want to thank my newest home at the Ryan's Family Amusement in Millis, Mass. Danny and Caitlin Finn, Liz Jones, Matt Taylor, Bobby Wander, and Brian Funya. I know Brian's here tonight. You're all like family to me, and I love you guys very much. I also want to say thank you to Tony Czernicki, Paul Wambach, and Dottie Lorick, and the WCBC Pro Tour. Growing up, everything was 3 or 5 games. This WCBC Tour was 10 games, and I just loved it. Whether we would drive 3 hours to Biddeford, Maine, or 2 hours to Boutwells in Concord, New Hampshire, those trips were so much fun. I want to thank Don Gillis and Channel 5 and the Channel 5 Candlepin Bowling Show. The excitement that you felt when you knew you were going on Channel 5 was like no other. Channel 5 was so awesome, and to be part of 2 True Value shows was just an amazing experience, which brings back one of my most favorite memories. I had won my first TV roll-off in 1987. I hit a 709. John Czernicki was my lane partner that day. And I was so excited. I couldn't believe I had won it, and I couldn't wait to get home to tell Dad. You know, we didn't have cell phones or nothing like that back then. So I got home, I walked in the house, and Dad was at the counter making himself a sandwich or something. And I didn't say anything, and Dad looks at me and he says, well, you know, Steve, you couldn't have bowled too good today. You're not saying anything. I said, nah, Dad, you know, I did all right. He said, well, what'd you hit? I says, I hit a 709. And he's like, well, you must have come close to winning it. And I looked at him and I said, no, Dad, I won it. I'm going on Channel 5. That meant a lot to me because that was one thing Dad didn't get to do, was to bowl on Channel 5. And that, it just meant the world to me to be able to share that with him. Another thanks goes out to the WNECA organization, Ralph Semb, the late Joan Yamakowski, and the late Richie Mayer. Thank you for everything you've done for us bowlers. Joni was like a mom to so many of us who have bowled in the Western Mass events through the years. I also want to thank Charlie Milan and Kansas Snow for starting the men's team's world championships. This is without a doubt the best event in the game. During my best years, Canadians Don Gauthier and Tony LeBlanc were 2 of my biggest rivalries out of Canada. And for New England, it was Peter Flynn, Jack Saniuk, Tim Lipke, and I believe Alan Joy, as we were all the anchormen for our teams. So when I knew I had to face one of those guys in a match, I took great pride in that because they were all so great. I was blessed to bowl. I was blessed to bowl with so many great bowlers through the years. Gary Carrington, Tommy Olster, Dick Klein, Joe Ashline, Steve Vadney, Johnny Winchell, John Boudreau, Dave Cookie Richards, Timmy Douglas, Jackie Ray, Jeff Atkins, John Zappi, Dick O'Connell, Alfie Johnson, Dan Shugarthia, and even my own son, Stephen, who's an excellent Candlepin bowler. They were all great teammates and better friends. Winning this event in 1990 with my dad will always be the most favorite moment in this game. Thank you, Charlie and Kansas, and everyone who is involved in keeping this great event alive today. I truly love this game and all the people I've met over the last 46 years of bowling. I just want to mention I've had some pretty amazing lady bowlers for partners and teammates over the years as well. My Aunt Barbara Funya was a mentor of mine and a dear friend in my younger years. She was great. I was blessed to bowl with the beautiful Dottie Lorick and Donna Banzi. Donna and I came in second in the States one year. They were so special. And in recent years, Tina Ward and Jessica Stockton, Laura Doffler, and Cassidy McClendon Courier who all bowl for a team that's named after my dad called Harry's All-Stars, which won the event, the World Team Mixed Team event in 2018. As I wrap up my speech, there is one last person I want to say thank you to, and that's my grandmother, Evelyn Renaud, my dad's mom. She came to all my TV shows, as well as so many other events. We drove in snowstorms and storms like we've had today. She always came out with me and supported me. Thank you, Meme. I love you. Please give Dad a hug for me. This is truly one of the greatest days of my life. Thank you all very much.
Thank you, Steve.
Steve Renaud Sr. and Harry Renaud finally in the Candlepin Hall of Fame. Congratulations. Such an emotional, very powerful speech.
It sure was an emotional night, Paul, that's for sure. And, you know, I had to try to come up with what would my dad want to say. But, you know, I tried to go over his career a little bit for him, you know, and I did all the thank yous in my speech.
Well, there were no lightning bolts, so you did a good job.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you. It's such a great evening. I'm really happy for all the other people that were inducted tonight, all well-deserved and all dear friends of mine.
Any bowlers you consider that should be in the Hall of Fame coming up or past?
I would definitely want to see my dear friend and my captain of my World's team, Jeff Atkins, get in. Hands down, he is a Hall of Famer. So it would be nice if we could see him get in at some point. You know, I know it's hard to contact some people. It's hard to get a hold of them. And somebody has to nominate you. But he would be my major one. But I also know guys like Gary Carrington and Dave Cookie Richards belong in here as well. And I know they're not right now, but they definitely deserve it.
Someone get them nominated, then they'll get the process going.
Especially Gary Carrington. He was one of my all-time favorites. The Babe. You know, it's funny that my father's uncle, the first person in our family to bowl, his name was Alfred Babe Bartlett. And it's funny that Gary Babe Carrington, another Babe, was one of my best friends. So it's kind of funny, you know, how that I had a couple of Babes in my life.
You have your plaque with you?
It's over with my family right now.
Okay, congratulations. A three-letter word from you in the Candlepin Hall of Fame with your father.
Wow.
All right, Steve Renaud Sr.
Very heartfelt. Wow.
Congratulations. Well deserved. Keep up the great work.
Thanks, Paul. I love you, Paul. Thank you for all you do.